Bienvenue à tous, bonjour. Didier Carré, président du G9+, qui organise ce webinaire sur la 5G. C'est dans une série à la fois 5G, un sujet qui nous passionne, également une série Europe-Asie, parce qu'on a invité, on a essayé d'inviter tous nos clubs régionaux, enfin plutôt internationaux, comme MC2I ou d'autres. Je vais passer la parole à Jean-François Vermont qui va animer cette réunion avec Anne-Claire. Bon. C'est à toi, Jean-François.
Merci Didier. Bienvenue. Welcome to this 5G hybrid webinar, which will take place remotely and physically. We will exchange the usage and marketing aspects of 5G, and to do this, we will present you the more advanced 5G applications, and we will concentrate on health and industry applications.
Hello, everybody. So it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers for today. First off, we welcome Georgios Avramidis from Huawei West EU. He came here from Düsseldorf to be speaking on this webinar with our other speakers. And he will be able to talk to us about the status of 5G deployment all over the world and to explain to us the 5G applications that are already being tested in different industries. So welcome, Georgios.
Good morning and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. A warm welcome also from my side. I am here to present to you today a little bit about what has been the overall 5G status, how this has evolved from previous generations 4G, and what is the future in terms of technology and innovation coming forward. Let me share my screen, may I?
Yeah.
I think it must be coming up and down. Okay. So all of us are very familiar with 4G and what it has brought in our lives. And now with 5G, already a couple of years, we have been able to experience much higher speeds, many more connected devices compared to previous generation. You can see here that we have moved into million connections per square kilometers, and of course, ultra reliable and low latency communications, which is really critical for some type of applications. We have moved to 1 millisecond versus 10 milliseconds before. And there is also a very promising future to look ahead. We have already been discussing about 5G Advanced, 5.5G, from Internet of Everything to Intelligent Internet of Everything, with dynamic spectrum sharing, massive MIMO, beamforming, so that you can have the beam from the antennas following each specific user, carrier aggregation, and many more nice technology features which are coming up in the roadmap. But when we discuss about this, it's not only technology jargon, it's mostly about 5G bringing new experiences, bringing new services and guaranteed quality of service end-to-end through all the network elements through 5G slices to guarantee these experiences. And I'm going to show you in my next slides some of these nice use cases that have been transforming our life. We are already since 2019, we have already more than 200 networks, 25 times more. These are the data from GSA for year-end 2021. Already 20 commercial networks in 72 countries. I have to say that more than 70 of these commercial networks are powered by Huawei. Nevertheless, the character of 5G is very different in every region. So you can see in America, you have FTD accelerating. In Europe, we have the most networks. In Middle East, you have the highest data usage, which is also due to the fact that you have now many devices, not only expensive ones, but also mid-tier 5G devices into helping into that. And the largest scale of deployment, of course, is in China, where 80% of the world 5G users are there. The traffic ratio of 5G has surpassed 30% now, and we have some leading examples, mostly for consumer services in South Korea. 20%, 28%, 22 million out of 70 million of population has been using 5G, and the traffic has already surpassed last year. 5G traffic has already surpassed 4G. And we're having these successful examples in mind. We can also go into some details about what is happening in Europe. Huawei have established the 5G2B, 5G for Enterprises tracker for all the new 5G project announcements. Since January 2018, we have more than 750 projects, but this also includes trials and academic research projects and proof of concepts. More than 50 projects concern France and involvement of French companies. The vast majority, of course, is coming from Germany with more than 140 projects, and second is UK with approximately 100 projects. With this project, we also see which are the percentage of 5G fixed wireless access, 5G private lines, and 5G mobile private networks, non-public networks. And we see that the 5G MPN is now increasing versus previous periods. And also we see that there is a dual model that these 5G projects are offered in the market directly from mobile operators or by enterprises who go directly and buy the infrastructure for 5G campus, 5G standalone networks, and then select an operator on their own. Therefore, you see the dual role of the operators, which are having like 60% of the pie, 70% of the pie versus 40% which is coming through by system integrators. When we discuss about, I know that today my presentation is focusing on industrial use cases, 5G for enterprises, but we cannot talk about 5G without a very brief mention of 5G use cases for consumers. And the fact that it has brought new capabilities, new immersive experiences. We now have very successful examples in Korea. New video, holographic video, new broadcasting functionalities with capability to have 360 degrees view or multi-angle view of different cameras, and the capability also to have a fast cloud gaming with solutions based in cloud and accessing them using your 5G handset. And the reasons for this success was, of course, the extremely good network performance, the content, and coupled with smart tariffs. That has also boosted migration of users from 4G to 5G. Moving to my core subject, which is 5G for enterprises, I have to mention here that this is a kind of a blue ocean for career growth. And I have included in my slide here the different type of verticals. We believe in Huawei that whenever you are considering to launch a new 5G service, you must examine which is the vertical which is most promising in its market. Typically, it's manufacturing, and that's why I'm going to give some examples later on about smart manufacturing. But in some other countries, it may be health and connected healthcare. And Sylvain and Patrice is going to give a dedicated session later on about applications and 5G for connected health. Some other countries maybe are putting emphasis in government services or media and entertainment. The typical way to success has been starting with connectivity, and this is the typical model so far, and moving then to connectivity with cloud, and then later on with cloud edge intelligence and cloud synergy. I think we have already passed the first part. If we were about to see what is the current stage we are in the life cycle, we have already achieved more than 20% penetration. We have more than 30% of traffic and more than 50% of applications running over 5G. And this is typical the time in the life cycle management of a product that you aim for monetization. So we are now in the phase of monetizing 5G, and we will see how we can do that with some examples.
Georgios, if I may, in 4 minutes, we will begin the interaction session. If there are questions, if there are no, you will go on. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I will speed up then in my presentation of my, this is the most important part here, to have some examples from China. You see here we have smart mining, smart grid, smart water, smart port. I'm going to give a very detailed example of smart port, smart education, connected healthcare with augmented reality assisted surgery, telemedicine, smart transportation examples here with 5G enabling bus monitoring and also connected with AI and cloud that they can give alert if the bus driver has fallen asleep. Smart media, which is with the capability of a 5G enabled backpack. the capability to do broadcasting in the field without using the typical way with satellite links. You just a professional camera connected to a 5G backpack. Smart port. For smart port, we have 4 use cases which are typical: remote control of tire cranes, unattended driving and manned vehicles within the port, intelligent tally lines with the capability to have automatic recognition of the containers, and of course connected 5G connected drones for inspection, which is a typical example also for construction sites inspection and overhead lines maintenance inspection. Out of these 4 examples, I have only focused on the remote control of tire.
Now, usually there's 3 or 4 of them working in 8-hour shifts. You know, they can't even go to the loo. It takes half an hour to get all the way down and all the way back up again. And in the meantime, there's nothing being offloaded off the ship. It's incredibly inefficient. Behind me on the other side, if you take a look, is a pole at the top of which is a 64T, 64R massive MIMO 5G antenna. This is what's covering the entire port site with all of that luxurious 5G signal. And on the cranes themselves are 22 cameras sending HD video images from every conceivable angle to the remote control room over the 5G network. There, drivers operate the cranes remotely, leveraging the ultra-low latency of the 5G network from their controls to the sophisticated PLC system that controls the crane's every movement. In this way, Marwan Port achieves the most efficient loading and unloading of containers using unmanned cranes with no downtime and no long toilet breaks. It's now you.
Okay, I think it was
very impressive. Very impressive.
Straightforward what you can have with a 5G enabled port versus traditional way in terms of safety, in terms of efficiency. I have included here some figures which are calculated from the business case: 20 more times of loading efficiency and 70% reduction on the operating and maintenance costs. I know that my time is limited, so I will move quickly to the next use cases. Okay, let me maximize it. Here we have again a connected factory with different use cases, intelligent security, augmented reality repair checking, which are already widely adopted. I have also frankly included something which is in not yet advanced, which is 5G used for indoor positioning. There are other technologies used today for LiDAR, trackers, tags, ultra wideband. 5G is not at the stage yet of offering the precision of 30 centimeters for indoor positioning. So you see, even with 5G, we have a little bit of way to go on. Out of all these nice examples, I speed up and selected only a few key ones, but you can see here an overview of the whole connected factory with 5G. I like particularly this use case of 5G plus augmented reality for maintenance FSM services for maintenance tasks. In the old traditional way, you would have 2 persons going side by side next to the machine, spend a lot of time there to understand, and the older person to train the colleague there what he has to do. By using this remote support functionality with a 5G enabled platform and 5G enabled Googles, the person can be in front of the machine, have real-time instructions projected in his smart Googles. He has hands-free, so he can operate freely. He can have the capability to have real-time manuals, not only verbal instructions from the remote expert, and also have snapshots sent back to the control room, snapshots also analyzed with AI algorithms to see if there is a problem there in the machine and give him on-screen warnings. So you can see that the efficiency is tremendous. Plus, there is also a social element there. Usually, you don't want elder qualified technicians to be all in the front line. They prefer to have this back-end remote expert role, which is a kind of a small qualitative element making this use case very nice. Now you can have them at the back room giving the guidance. Machine vision for quality detection, 5G connected cameras analyzing small surfaces and giving real-time analysis of faulty products, and then an AI algorithm making decisions, discard the product or proceed to packaging. I move quickly, really.
Anne-Claire, excuse me, Anne-Claire, nous avons une question. We have a question from a participant. Anne-Claire, est-ce que tu peux la répercuter à Georgios?
Yes, shall I address this question at the end? On our Q&A session? As soon as I finish my presentation?
In principle, we are in the interaction period.
Okay.
So we'll answer as soon as
okay, I will finish the presentation in 1 minute. Okay, I promise I will be quickly. I want this example because this example, some of the use cases can already be fulfilled with Wi-Fi 6. And sometimes there is a question why 5G and not Wi-Fi. Indeed, some cases can be fulfilled already with Wi-Fi. If there is a business case to avoid cabling long Wi-Fi access points, sometimes when you don't need to have seamless handover from Wi-Fi access point to another, you need 5G. But this is a very good example of why 5G for enterprises is unsurpassed. It cannot be fulfilled with any other technology. It's from a real case in Switzerland. There is a factory who is creating bladed discs, rotors for airplanes, and you require extremely high precision when these rotors are carved. And you have there a model, a predictive algorithm that calculates if the drilling process is going out of bounds. You have like 6 to 8 millimeters tolerance, but if it goes out of bounds, then the whole rotor has to be discarded. And by using 5G and the capability for ultra reliable and low latency and cloud edge intelligence, they can analyze on the spot what is going on there. And in case something is wrong, they stop abruptly the production to recalibrate the machines. And this way, you can avoid scrapping materials that are really costly, because the whole rotor has to be scrapped, and there is a calculation there about how many millions per euro, how many million euros per year are saved by this example that is really can be fulfilled only with 5G. Some use cases from our R&D in Open Lab in East Munich. We have a mobile-enabled quality control. A robot with a 5G CPE is moving to inspect products delivered from the OT here, the production line. The camera is checking if the product is correct or not, and then the robot is picking it up and is delivered according to the decision of the AI algorithm analysis, either for rechecking or for discarding. In some cases, you can have the robot there also only as a mobile eye. In hazardous environments, you can send the robot there instead of a person. So I finished my presentation with quickly with a call to action, which is we have a way together ahead, and we invited you to onboard to Huawei's 5G ecosystem to support you all the way through industry digitization and your end-to-end innovation strategy with a sales-looking perspective, a revenue generation perspective.
Thank you,
so
Georgios. Yes, and Claire, the question has been raised in the chat.
Yes, we can all see the question now. So the question is, on the 5G use case, we've seen use cases for process improvement and efficiency. Are there any use cases on business transformation and or sustainability?
Yes, there is also the element of the business transformation there for automating quickly the processes. It's not only the technology there, it's also the human element and the process element. I think that if I go back to my slide there are a lot of, in the Connected Factory, there are a lot of processes that have been automated. And also the element of sustainability, it is coming up when you have low power consumption, when you have the capability to have more bit per watt consumption. We have also the Huawei network carbon index ratio to measure how 5G technology is impacting the overall environment. So yes, there are some use cases. And also there are use cases in smart agriculture that I guess that will be a topic for another time, that the sustainability there is really evident when you have the capability with a 5G connected drone to spot exactly this wheat versus healthy plants, and send a second 5G enabled drone to spray the exact XY coordinates, thus achieving 90% less chemicals in the environment. So yes, there are use cases both for business transformation and environmental sustainability.
Thank you, Georgios. just before giving the floor to Patrice Cristofini, if the person who raised the question wants to have more precision and deepen the answer, he can raise a question in Q&A section of the interface of Zoom, and we will answer afterwards. So Patrice, I give you the floor now. Thank you, Georgios.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this invitation. So today, the idea, we are now focused more on the healthcare market. As you know, healthcare market is really in an explosion phase because we have more and more connected health solutions on the market. Just to remind you, three main waves, three main revolutions. At the beginning of the story, it was only internet. The second wave, it was big data and cloud. And now we are in the third wave. The third wave, it is Internet of Things and intelligence artificial. It means that more and more patients and healthcare professionals will communicate in real time and in mobility. So keep in mind these big trends because it will explain you why we need to have a network with the capability to manage so huge data. Next slide. Okay, just to give you a global overview, some figures, Internet of Things in healthcare. There is a lot of study, a lot of survey that say that at worldwide level, the global addressable market is around $120 billion. Don't forget that in healthcare in many countries, the healthcare expenditure are around 10%. It depends on the country. So it means that with this development of Internet of Things at home, in mobility, you will have a lot of data on the network. The second thing you need to keep in mind, and why 5G will be, of course, useful, is that we will have a long daily expectancy, so we will have a lot of chronic disease. So chronic disease means that you need to be followed at home on mobility by an healthcare professional, so you will use the network. The third thing you need to keep in mind is that telehealth is an explosion. So telehealth is a different thing, teleconsultation, teleexpertise, telesurvey, remote medical assistance. You have a lot of definition. I don't want to go too much in the details, but I want to tell you that after COVID-19, it has been an explosion because you need to follow people at home because you don't have enough healthcare professionals. You need also to follow the patients when they leave the hospital, to see what will be the consequences in the future for the COVID-19. So there is a really big trend. So it means that more and more we need to exchange data. At the beginning, for COVID-19, it was only video conference, but more and more you need to capture medical data with IoT, push the medical data to the healthcare professional. He will make the analysis and organize an exchange. Third market will arrive, wearable and sensors. We know there is a lot of startup. Keep in mind that at the beginning of IoT, it was more prevention and wellness, but more and more IoT is now focused on the care. And that is the main trend and the main evolution. Of course, home monitoring, video monitoring, more and more requests, particularly when you need to follow the chronic disease. And a big market also, telesurgery and virtual reality. Sylvain will probably show you some use case. It is very important because it has been the first field in the healthcare who will really decide to work and to engage with 5G, with the radiology also. So this sixth topic, it is the global definition, and you can understand that in the future, more and more data will go on the traffic. Next slide. Here you have a global picture who will explain you all the different applications where you have experimentation with 5G. What is very, very important, I will say that from my point of view, surgery, robotic, radiology are probably the first domain where it has started. But as I explained before, you have a lot of different topics where we know that the data will exchange. Next slide. So now, as we can see, before we use a 4G. Now, more and more experimentation. Why? Because if you consider remote surgery, there is a latency that must be reduced at the maximum level. And for example, you have what we call the surgeon, when he's using a robot, he needs to have a good feeling of what he's doing in a remote way. So 5G is capable to go around less than 1 millisecond. It wasn't possible with the other networks, and it is very important for surgery and for robotic and tactile internet to use that. So you have a concept which is very important, what we call ultra reliable and low latency communication. That is a key advantage if you compare to 4G. It is completely included in the concept of the 4P medicine. The second thing is that, of course, a lot of data, you understand why before, because I give you all the application, and it means that you need to exchange big data, a lot amount of data, you need to go quickly in mobility, you need to reduce the energy, you need to have high bandwidth for radiology regarding the resolution picture. And you have also in the future the device-to-device solution. It means that each IoT can communicate with another IoT. So just to give you the key advantage and why we think that in the future this 5G will replace very quickly the 4G usage. But at this step, let's try to be realistic. 4G is used. Okay, but the future is really 5G. Next slide. So in conclusion, I will really want 5G is really a key element. You understand your healthcare data explosion. The market is now at this step really at the level of experimentation. How will be the future? How we will go to an industrial phase? Probably surgery, radiology are the key specialties to drive that, but the chronic disease and how to follow the people at home will also arrive. I am very confident on the fact that 5G will take a very good place in what we call the smart healthcare solution, but it will also engage some questions. If 5G takes a good place in the healthcare, they will have to manage the regulation and the ethic point of view. That is a real topic because healthcare is a specific market. So smart healthcare solution using 5G must be compliant with the regulation of healthcare, and that is very specific in Europe, in France, and also in Asia. So that is a topic that we need to anticipate for the industrial development. Thank you so much. I would like to tell you.
Thank you, Patrice, for respecting the schedule. You're impressive. So now we have a 5 minutes Q&A session. And Claire, maybe you can tell us the questions raised.
Question coming up again in the chat and not in the Q&R. I think Jean-François would love you to ask the question in the Q&R instead.
No, I think we can go on with what we can do with what is available. So no problem.
The question is, are the actors of the future, especially for 5G, are there going to be new actors or mostly the established OEMs?
That's a good question. In my point of view, it will be partnerships with industrial of the network and vertical healthcare industry. That will be, from my point of view, it will be a partnership because even if you have a technology, you need to join the usage, the use. If you don't go to the medical use, your solution will not have a good future. So for me, it is partnership, industrial of network, and industrial of healthcare. The solution will go by this alliance.
Thank you, Patrice. I don't see other questions, so I have one question. How do the patients react to this old technologies applied to their disease? Are they willingly accepting these new relations between machines between surgeons, doctors, and themselves? How do they react? How do they accept all these innovations in their behavior?
What I can tell you is that if you compare the statistical study 10 years ago and now, you can observe that many patients say, I like the technology, it's really useful, I can have a better follow-up. And if you consider the COVID-19, where you are at home, where you don't know what you have no doctors, the only solution is to go to emergency service, you are very proud to have an exchange in telehealth. Unfortunately, in Europe, they don't use, they begin to use blood pressure, oximetry parameters to send to the doctor. It's really the beginning of the story. In my opinion, I will say patient empowerment. The patient will drive the technology and the healthcare professional will follow. So that is my conclusion.
Okay, I'm looking at the questions. Sorry, I have another question because of the present actuality. In Europe, the healthcare system is heavily regulated. The market is financed by social security systems. And some startups in the health sector raise a question to the candidates. I'm taking the case of France, excuse me, saying that it's very difficult for them to develop innovations because social security systems do not present solutions to finance these new treatments, new procedures, and so on. What do you think about this blockage due to the social financing of health?
I will understand. What you can say, if you consider only France, for example, the French government launched a lot of billions of euros to push the startup, the innovation, and the healthcare sector is really focused on that. It is one target for the French government. Of course, the problem for innovative people is the regulation. You have a balance to find between the regulation and the constraint and the data privacy. And you have the volunteer for the investor to catch the market, to have a reimbursement quickly, and to develop the turnover. That's the eternal question. My opinion is probably that we need to have a very pragmatic approach and to continue to engage money for the development. But my opinion is that you need to put the money, focus on the project where you have really an industrial potential development. And for the regulation, probably more simple, more flexible, but it's very difficult. If you consider only Europe, the care is on the decision of each state. Europe can make recommendations, but each state has its own regulation for the care. For prevention and for the patient, it's a little different. So my opinion is probably to find a good balance between regulations and innovation. But if you consider France, there is money now. A lot of money are engaged. And the funds and private funds and European funds. So for me, the campaign has started and it will not stop. But who will be the winners? That's difficult. If the question is it better to start in France than in Germany, I'm not sure because you have regulation in each country.
Okay, Patrice, thank you very much. Now we are going to give the floor to Sylvain. So don't forget, Sylvain, 10 minutes of presentation and 5 minutes of interactions. Thank you, Sylvain.
Okay, so let me introduce 3Dverse. We are a company, we develop a platform through 5G, cloud GPU. If you are familiar with video games, you know, GPU are using especially for that. And the driving force of AI today is the video games. So the purpose is to have a social and cultural economic development, and we have to give the ability to anyone to access to data, and with the respect of ecology balance on the planet and everything. And the cloud and 5G, the augmented reality, are today our purpose. We want to achieve a good business in this game. So what with the application, we have to share massive 3D data. There is more and more 3D data, and it's in real time. It's not just 3D, real time, like in video game. You know, when you produce a video game, it's 30 frames per second, so it's 3D rendering in real time. That's our purpose, and you will see all the application in other domain. We have to secure data, obviously, and save the energy and the material resource. So 3Dverse is a platform. There is many verticals. We'll talk especially about healthcare today, but we also work in fashion business, AEC, architecture, engineering, construction, and many other applications. You have to see Metaverse as something like an operating system. So since 20 years, we built 4 3D engine, and the last one is 3Dverse. It's more like an operating system over the cloud. So it's like Windows. When you use Windows, it gives you the abstraction of the complexity of the hardware to just say hello to someone. You just use a word and say hello. In the cloud, you have microservices. So it's not microcomputer, but microservices. There is a lot of complexity around that. And 3Dverse gives you the abstraction of all this complexity. So 10 years ago, we did this prediction that for AI and computer graphics, we will use a GPU card for gaming in the cloud. And it was 10 years ago. No one understands that. But today, GPU are now the driving force of the cloud. So plus AR and 5G, we can now launch some quick use case. Just before the use case, as you know, there is many kind of device, many kind of system that require memory, computing, battery, and so on. So if you want to do one application, you should work on web app, because if you have to build for each device a new kind of model of application, it will be very complex. So today, the 3D is everywhere. The data are everywhere, and the diversity of devices is well, and there is multiplicity of stakeholders. Many people use as many use cases. So we try with one system to fix all those trouble. And this is work like that. It's an abstraction around the cloud, and everyone get in the same. That's it. It's not like today people they're using Unity or Unreal. The software built in early 90s. It's a monolithic application, so you have to copy the software, you have to copy the data, and you have to synchronize everyone. So that don't work. That can't work. And that's why we build this new kind of architecture. So we can jump in on the use case. So today we have a company in La Rochelle, in France, and they use our platform to develop the software that you see. It's to when you have when you break your legs, you have to fix an implant, and a bespoke implant. And today, in 8 months, they develop over our application this software, which is today need regulatory for human, but not for veterinary. And this year, it will be regulated for human. So you can fix implant in less than 14 minutes. The competitors make days, because they use multiple software, multiple Exchange files, and that takes time. But at least they fix it. We have a demo in 2 minutes. Here, all the images are computer graphic. We have a copy of Marseille, and you can see in real time the live signal of the whole city. Because of the power of the cloud, you don't have to use a software like Google Earth to download each tile. You can see the whole town in your headset, and that requires a lot of power that your headset can't handle. We did a use case with firemen in Monaco this year. The idea is when you have a fire or something, your IoT sends you a signal. This signal is a web page with the 3D model of the building. And with this building, after you can follow the firemen inside the building. So everyone gets the situation. There is no application to load, no data to load, and obviously you don't have time. There is fire, so you have to do quick. And so they have tablet or they have a headset, and they can follow all the thing. And after the mission, you can have a debriefing in real time and to see how you can perform better next time. We can do also IoT for managing buildings, so you can superpose a model of IIC, Revit files, so architecture, structure, and energy. So, and you can follow agents inside. We work also in patrimony heritage with Quai, for example, or many other museums. So you can give access to high-end resolution models with your laptop or your mobile. So no copy, and you have the full resolution of the model. You can even use lights and things. You can work on fashion business today. Fashion business is a big one because you want to do a bespoke. Everyone wants to get a made in France with a bespoke model that require power, that require computing, and 5G is the key on site, not only for the manufacturer but also for training. Obviously, you know, in manufacture you can follow the all the supply chain, and the education. There is also Congress, virtual Congress. We did a lot of things this year with 5G and hotels. Obviously, if you want to load a huge engine or a huge car with a million parts, you can't just download the system. It's impossible. You're not sure that the people could see the same image, so you need sharing through the cloud. That's what we do. And obviously, the big game is the game. The game is the biggest industry in the world, and for us, it's the next big thing. Okay, so we had a lot of press release on that, obviously, because you know, for journalists, it's graphics. So graphics, it's something very easy to sell. So now we can do a short demo.
Yes, because as there are no questions, you have 5 minutes left for the demo. Thank you.
Okay, so it's very quick. So for example, we develop a small application that use a lot of friends of us, they use it, especially for execution. So, for example, I want to jump in a model. It's just a click, and this is a huge file. Normally, you should work on a CD-ROM. That could take 20 minutes to see it. But here you have access to the model in real time. We can have also the slice, and you can see we have a very good precision. The detail is very, very good. And the computer I have is just a regular computer. It's not a GPU computer. Everything is built in the cloud. And now, if you want to do something like just push that. Voilà. Okay. We do a small surgery altogether. So it's a veterinary surgery. Some dogs, they have the trouble of the femur bone could have a distortion, and we want to fix this distortion to repair that. So we will do artificial fracture. You can see the bone is bent and it's not good. So I will take my HoloLens here, and I will see the model through the. Oui, I have to connect that. So the idea is to fix the model, and we can see the model in multiple views. Okay. So everyone is connected on the same scene, you will see. Voilà. It's coming. I just have to reload my page. there is no setup. You just have to switch on your glasses, and you can see what you're inside. So this is what I'm looking at today. So there is a bit latency because of compression decompression, but you can see I can move like that, and I will join the session. Okay. So with my glasses, as you will see, I will jump in the session of the model. So okay, there is a bit a second. Okay, it's coming. Hop. Yeah. Okay, so it's coming. So you see there is a bond here. It's the same one, and we can see the view at the same time here. So I will show my okay, so let's go. Okay, I don't know if you see the there is a bad we are not 5G here, so there is a bit of anyway, for the latency here, it's a bit confusing. I don't know if we can. C'est vraiment pénible. C'est vraiment pénible. I dislike when there is too much latency. We have an office and showroom in Monaco. We have a real 5G. If you want to come, it's way more easy to make demo because here we are sharing the guest Wi-Fi. It's cool, but so if you see here, you see the multiple view here from my lens and from anyone. And each time that I show it, you see it in real time. So there is nothing compute on my laptop, nothing compute on my lens. We just follow the surgery, all the procedure that we need to know, to understand the all grips. Voilà. So people, they just have to jump in inside the scène. Ça c'est pareil, il faudrait que je m'enlève ce truc-là. Voilà. Plus grand, sorry. Voilà. 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 Ça y est, normalement, je peux voir ce que je vois ici. Hop. I don't know. No, there is too much laggy, I think. But anyway, the idea is to understand that we can share 3D rendering for anyone. We can script inside, we can put AI inside, and so for each surgeon, student, or any doctor, they can see the same things with the same quality of rendering. That's why 5G is very important. We just give a demo of why 5G is so important. If you don't have 5G,
okay. Thank you, thank you, Sylvain. We are approaching the conclusion. I guess that all the participants will become aware that in many fields, 5G networks can beat the traditional network features and imagine new usages, very impressive, with a high volume of data quickly delivered. So there is a lot of potential, of course. Before giving the floor to Didier, I just wanted to precise that you can raise all your questions, inquiries, and even asking for contacts in 0 5G development projects, fundings, and so on to GNF, to GNF Plus, and with pleasure, we will play our role to foster the ecosystem, the technological ecosystem, and the 5G ecosystem. So thank you very much for the speakers. Thank you very much to the participants, but don't leave just now sharply. We have some messages to deliver very briefly on behalf of Didier. Didier, president of GNF9. I give you the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and Claire and you all, for your very interesting speeches, and it's really enlightening. I see the potential of a 5G, and it's really, unlocking the hardware constraints we have. I think the real way to demonstrate is that that's really something. And instead of sustainability, which is a topic which is very close to the heart of G9, we published a book on that last year. Regarding sustainability, and it is a Take It Green, the book. So we're really fond of this topic, and we will send you a survey to give your opinion about this webinar, and there's a possibility for you to give us a suggestion of new topics, and I think we already give some, and I think we'll be back. But we'll be already back, and you can see all the, and we'll not go to all the sessions we'll have in the future, but I would just point to one of the most important. We're organizing the 4th of April, which will be more wider perspective on, the title is quite funny, the 20s. I don't know if there's an English expression for that, but in France we say the 20s, 20s, where the année folle. And we are asking ourselves, are we in the crazy years? I don't know, let's say crazy years. And there will be a lot of important state testimony during this meeting coming next April, on the 4th. And we'll have also our rencontre annuelle, which is not yet in our page, but I announced it the 16th of May. It's our big event of the G9 Plus. So I thank you all. We thank our missing Huawei. So receive make this possible, and which helps Nation Plus not be only France, but a global organization. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you to the GNF Plus for having all of the speakers here. And and as Jean-François said, don't hesitate to contact us to reach out to any of the speakers.
Okay, so for the last words, thank you very much. We respected the schedule. We want to be very straight, not to be over 1 hour, because it needs concentration to absorb all this information. We plan new meetings with you on 5G very soon, and we will inform you. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good day, and see you later on the networks. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.